What's going on, YouTube? Find some green here with Dart and Diamonds Gaming. Season 2 has been out for a total of 5 days, and I don't really know what to say. I mean, you could look at it from a positive perspective and say that they've increased the XP we're getting for every program that you're doing, or ranked seasons, or BR, or events, and your team affinity, and that's true. And it definitely seems like it's a little more accelerated. As you can see, I'm up to 235,000 on the XP path, and I'm still not even playing that much. And I think the reason why I'm not playing that much is myself, and I would imagine most of you, or a good handful of you, seasons suck. I don't really know a different way to put it. It's not been fun going back down to 89s. It hasn't. Anthony Santander is a fun card to use, whether it's in events or whether you're playing Conquest or whatever. And like we talked about during I had a beat short on extreme with the tips video that I did. Mark Cannon's got a nice swing. There are some fun cards, but I went and I jumped into BR and I got to use 99 Chipper, and I don't need 99 cards to have fun, but it's nice to use 99 cards, especially considering that we just were like a week ago. Now, I know that Team Affinity was always going to be 89s, but I was hoping that with the rest of their content structure, they may pivot slightly. Just a little bit. Like, I know things are planned, right? Certain things are planned, like this architect program is planned. But it didn't take much, or it shouldn't take much, just to tweak it a little bit so the overalls don't read 89. Because it's still the same crap that they were pulling with us last season. You're grinding for 87s, you're grinding for 89s, and there's 91s in the shop. And oh look, there's packs in the shop. Oh, they gave us a London program. The London program is not a program. The London program is a no-sell pack, which is fine. Don't care if it's sell or not. If I get anything good, wonderful. If I don't, I mean, it really depends on your definition of good. Bryce Harper and Brandon Nimmo, they aren't the greatest looking cards. The reliever from Philly is probably the best card of the bunch, to be honest. I haven't used him yet, but his pitch mix is nice. And he's got 99 break and 99 velo. That entire little program, air quotes, is busy work. Like, it's busy work. If you go and you look at what the requirements are to finish that program, okay, you have your typical moments. You have 1,000 XP with Phillies, 10 home runs with Phillies, 25 extra base hits with Phillies, 15 Ks with Phillies. It's 1,000 XP with the Mets, same amount of home runs, same amount of extra base hits, same amount of Ks. It's all just busy work. And busy work isn't fun. Now, I'm working on Team Affinity at the same time, so I can load up on Mets and Phillies and go do my East tour that I need to do. But it's still not fun. It's not fun. This Mike Napoli card is, I mean, you just gave us a 93 last season. You really thought breaking out an 87 was going to be great? He doesn't even fit all the different captains. He doesn't make the Corbin Carroll team. Now, yeah, he gets a boost with Stanton. He gets a boost with Devers, but I don't understand why we're grinding for 89s. Like I get Team Affinity. You could have grinded for 89s, but there should have been no problem whatsoever bumping these guys a little bit. Now, you could say, well, they didn't bump them because then they'd be just as high as the live series cards. And you're right. You're absolutely right. You know what you could have done? You could have given us cards that aren't of the best players that are in the game. And you could have finagled their numbers instead. Any single one of them. There were other guys you could have chosen. You could have done a Curtis Granderson from 2012. He wouldn't have had high contact. He would have probably been similar to Napoli. He wouldn't have had high contact, but he hit 43 home runs that year. He was on the All-Star team. You could have made him a 90. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. I don't think anybody would have batted an eye. Tim McClash was fast as hell. That's great. Nobody gives a shit. You know, if you want to troll, you could probably use him. Between his speed, and I'm sure that they'll find some way to let him bunt. You know, and with the extra 15 power, it might be something interesting. He'll get over 80 power against lefties. It could be interesting. But, you know, it was a hard fall off a cliff. And I'm not exactly sure what they're planning to accomplish with this. It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. Now, you could say all I do is complain, because this is probably like my third or fourth video now talking about how SDS has their heads up their ass. They don't know what they're doing. And yeah, you'd be right. You know, I still put out content to try to help you guys either make stubs or complete different programs. And at this point, yeah, I'm going to complain. And no, I'm not going to applaud them. I don't see the reason to. I really don't. And I don't know why anybody would. Applauding them for putting out 2 programs today, if they were decent programs, yes, definitely. The Architects program, at face value, it's not the worst thing in the world. It could have been better. The London Series program is bullshit. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And the fact that we have to do the missions that they set forth for a no-sell pack, now again, I don't care that it's no-sell, is just, it's stupid to me. There was an entire series in London. Instead of just the 5 cards in the pack, you couldn't have figured out a way to put some other cards in the program for us to earn and then use? I mean, I distinctly remember that they had the Mexico series either last year or the year before. No, it was last year, right? Last year, the Mexico series. They used to do the City Connect that had a program in them where they would have us do specific team stats, and you would get a jersey and you would get a card of a highlighted player from that. At this point, they give us a conquest map, we get a jersey, and there's nothing else. And I'm pretty sure I brought that up before, but I just want everybody to understand that I'm not complaining because I'm complaining for the sake of complaining. I'm complaining because this game is rapidly falling down from what it used to be. It's just lazy at this point. I really, really, really believe that. I don't like the direction that they're headed. I don't like the direction that they have been heading. It's just not good. And I know that's not a very articulate way to put it. And I'm okay with that, because I'm so dumbfounded by what they've done and what they've chosen to do. And to sit there on stream and tell us that they listened to us and that they're going to make things better and that it's going to be a better overall experience is bullshit. Okay? It's just straight bullshit. I'm not exactly sure what they were doing when they trotted out the guy whose name I can't remember with Luis. And they sat there and tried to spoon feed us the reasons why the game was going to be better in season 2 and talk to us like we have the intellect of a 5-year-old. No offense to the 5-year-olds. But for me personally, and you could say that, you know, I need to get thicker skin, but it was, at least in my opinion, a little disrespectful. Now, I know that there are some newer players, but I know there's a lot of players that have been playing this game for far too long to listen to 10 minutes of that crap and be like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. No, just no. Please, listen, if you want to, you know, tear down your franchise the way you originally built it because somebody told you need to make money, that's fine. It keeps you employed. It keeps us having a game, even though it's not as good of a game, in my opinion. But don't get on air and then try to tell us it's going to be the greatest thing ever. It's wrong. And yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm half and half on the 3 sets of Chipper Griffey and Holidays. You know, I could see the argument for the 91s, and then you get to the 95s, and then you get to the 99s with the evolution of them. I mean, they could have gone back to the actual evolution program for season 2 with Griffey, Chipper, and Holiday. It wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. And they could have slow-blooded if they really wanted to, like they do with the ranked seasons program. It didn't have to be that we could progress as fast as we want, because God forbid we could play anything the way we want this year. If you have any questions with that, then I suggest you go look at how single players have to play Team Affinity right now, because play against the computer doesn't count if you're playing against the CPU in mini seasons or in Conquest. You actually have to go into play against the computer, so there's no real double dipping there. They tell you play your way, but they don't really mean it, which it is what it is. Team Affinity is a bit of a slog this go around. I know it shows that I'm almost done, and yeah, I'm getting there. I know there are plenty of people that are already done, but I still stand firmly that the war on single player mode is in full effect. They did mess with the exchanges again, and yeah, they're literally dictating which ways you can actually earn progress with your single player modes. So there's that. But then the flip side of me is like, well, that's 6 additional cards that could have been other players that I was using, and then eventually getting to Griffey and Chipper. Again, I'm not completely sure. I think that I'm going to try and pick up the Captain Mark Pryor from Season 1 and use my wild card on him for the standout boost that he gets. Because his standout boost, while they had the audacity to nerf the Buxton boost, and not so much the audacity with the Buxton boost, he was a free card. The fact that they managed to nerf the Carlos Santana boost after people actually spent stubs on it is a fucking joke. But they did not, at least to the best of my knowledge, they did not touch the Mark Pryor boost. And the Mark Pryor boost, if you can get 9 captain cards, or not 9 captain cards, 9 standout cards on your team, gives you plus 20 Ks per 9, plus 15 hits per 9, plus 20 power versus right, and plus 20 batting clutch. Now, the nice thing about this is there are a few standout cards that also qualify, at least that I know of. Maybe just Vinny Castilla, I have to look. But there's at least one standout card that would also fit with the Devers boost. So if you wanted to run out the guys that we get from that wonderful little program they gave us today, along with some other cards with less than 74 or less fielding, you could potentially double dip at least Vinny at the moment. Now, the whole thing with the standout boost is that you're really only going to be able to run Devers at tier 2. But the nice thing with the standout boost is that it's going to work for Griffey, and it's going to work for Chipper, and obviously it'll work for Castilla. It's going to work for Joe Morgan. It'll work for the new Lee Smith that you're about to get in the XP reward path. Roy Oswalt will qualify for it. Rafael Palmeiro is going to qualify for it if you've completed the American League Live Series collection. There's some good cards there that you'll be able to use, and then you won't have to sacrifice the entire team with under 75 fielding, because at tier 2 it's still going to be plus 10 power versus right and plus 10 power versus left. So you'll be getting plus 30 power versus right to at least Castilla, and then still plus 20 power for Griffey and for Chipper. So it's something you guys might want to look into. With that said, I really, really wish they would have sat down and had some sort of emergency meeting about halfway through season 1. And instead of loading us up with packs that at the end of the day really didn't mean shit, that they would have instead sat there and said, hey, how can we redesign the power creep a little bit? Because obviously the fan base isn't happy. Starting season 2 back off at 89s, it should have been 91s. It should have been 91s. I mean, crap, your BR rewards right now are 91s. You could buy 91s in the store. And in about a week and a half, you can buy 92s and 93s in the store. Which means they'll automatically be better than the BR program that doesn't end for another 17 days. Yeah. Season 1 starting at 89 was fine. Season 2, 91 or 92. And then you run it up. And then season 3, you could have done 94s or 95s and run it up. And then season 4, because apparently there's going to be a season 4, because God forbid they didn't torture us for, I don't know, 300 something days of the game cycle. That could have started at like 97 and gone from 97s to 99s. Or you could have just skipped season 4 altogether and said, hey, guess what? I'm sorry we fucked up, guys, but here, please enjoy the rest of the game cycle before we ruin your lives with the next one. Because, yeah, the problem is going to be that if they can show enough of a profit, this isn't going away. I know, it's very, very clear, and I know we've talked about this before, but it is very clear that it is all about them making as much money as possible. And as I've stated before, I'll continue to make content until I can't stomach it, to at least try to help you guys combat their money and their greed and whatever else you want to call it, because it's not the same game model that it used to be. But wherever I can try to help you guys make stubs or give you any types of tips to help get through their programs easier, I'm all here for it. Anyway, if you made it this far, it's a bit of a rant. It's a little jumbled. As I started off saying, I wasn't really sure what to say, and there aren't a lot of good things to say. So, best take from it is that you're going to get through the XP path faster. The worst thing about it is that, well, it doesn't seem like they changed much of their mindset, and it doesn't seem like they changed the overalls very much. I know they said that the All-Star break is supposed to bring a whole lot of great stuff, but I honestly think that might just set us up for a bigger letdown when they drop the ball, because, well, no pun intended, but it's a baseball game, after all. With that said, if you made it this far, please consider leaving a like, clicking subscribe, and hitting the noti bell. Comment down below. It really helps us defeat the algorithm. We've been making a lot of progress with defeating the algorithm. I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us. Let me know what you think. Is the game a dumpster fire, or can it be saved? As always, I appreciate the time. And until next time, have a good one.